for the things you own and those you care about. Protect what matters most with life, health, and general insurance. The time by Sagicor Life and Advantage General is
7 a.m. and it's now time for the Morning Watch with the Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, pill popping problems, dangerous party drugs leading to serious crime. And in the second watch, billions gone. Education Ministry laments poor resource usage. For our social media question, we ask, do you think teachers should be using more of the resources provided by the government in classrooms? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's our quote.
Today's I quote says, "Joy is the infallible proof of the presence of God." And this one is from Madeline. No, I will just refrain from
say Jerusalem,
saying her
Lord.
last name.
Just say Jerusalem.
Madeline, woman of God. Madeline, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, morning, Jukas.
Morning.
Yeah, man. Joy is the infallible proof
Of the
of the
presence
presence of God.
Amen.
Great quote. The first watch will be back after this break.
This Father's Day, celebrate Dad for always being there. Show him how much you care by creating even more memories. And when you use your JN Bank Visa credit card and sign up for JN Rewards between June 10 and 16, you'll receive 1,000 bonus rewards points. With your JN Bank Visa credit card, you can earn real rewards to make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Shop with your JN Bank Visa credit card and sign up for rewards today. Conditions apply. JN Bank will help you find a way.
PK Global Ministries presents their Prayer Storm Revival Service at Windscar Park, Christiana, Manchester, Friday, June the 28th and Saturday, June the 29th, 2024. Starting time, 7 p.m. Featuring Prophet Kenneth Okoji from Houston, Texas, and Evangelist Ian Levy from Christiana, Manchester. Sponsored by Bread of Life Entertainment, Forever Young Hairdressing and Beauty Supplies, and Sugar Notch Recording Studio. It's PK Global Ministries Prayer Storm Revival Service. Be there.
A 55-inch smart TV, sound bar, or a Total Email gift certificate with only 6,500 JMD in Bashko? Yes, you heard that right. Spend 6,500 JMD or more in Bashko for a chance to win big this Father's Day. Enter as many times as possible and celebrate your dad with Bashko. Hurry and grab your items now. Competition ends June 12, 2024. Visit a Bashko store today and shop for your dad. Follow our socials at Bashko Jamaica for more information.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Think ahead, make a plan. You got the freedom of choice.
LARC, long-acting reversible contraceptives.
I made my choice 6 years ago. I have an IUCD, also called copper T, and it will go and protect me from pregnancy for another 4 years at least.
My choice was an implant. It lasts for 5 years. And when I'm ready for a baby, I just make doctor take it out. Contact the National Family Planning Board at 9681632 to find out more about the LARC.
Think ahead, make a plan. You got the freedom of choice.
Ready to experience 6 times more freshness in your clothes? Try Downy Scent Beads. Its fragrance is so amazing, you have to sniff it to believe it. Try Downy Scent Beads today. 6 times more freshness versus using detergent alone.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. The Sunday Gleaner front page story this week highlighted an increasing problem in our country that seems to be flying under the radar. The issue of popping pills, what some call party drugs, has moved from international TV screens into our local music and nightlife. So much so, in fact, that it has taken an even more drastic turn. Predators, according to local authorities, have been using these drugs as tools for rape and assault of women. And the major roadblock, it seems, is the classification of these drugs, which does not allow the police to clamp down in ways that could stop them from coming into the island. Well, to learn more about this, we have joining us Ms. UK Atkinson, research analyst from the National Council on Drug Abuse, as well as Major Robert Finzi-Smith, security consultant. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good. Let me begin with you, Ms. Atkinson. For the record, what are synthetic drugs and how are they similar and different from narcotics?
So, thank you very much, first of all, for having me. Good morning to you and your listeners.
Great.
And I am the research analyst from NCDA. And we have, well, first, your question is, what are synthetic drugs?
Yeah.
Synthetic drugs are substances that are not naturally occurring. In other words, they are made in labs, some of which are used for medical purposes and some of which are used for recreational purposes. Now, the context of synthetic drugs has been changing across the world in the past few years, where a number of these substances are now being made to mimic the effects of recreational drugs. So they mimic the effects of cannabis, they mimic the effects of cocaine, stimulants, and other categories of drugs. But they are not, many of them, because of how the chemical compounds have changed by the people who are making them, they're not under international drug control laws. And so we face an increasing risk to public health and public security because of the rapid development of these new synthetic substances that are being trafficked in a much easier to traffic these substances because they're often in very small pills that are not, some of them look just like a Panadol, some of them look like vitamins, some of them are colorful. And so it is, they're trafficked in smaller quantities. They're trafficked through courier services. So it has created mayhem for drug control and policies to govern those new synthetic substances that are in our midst.
And the difference between them and narcotics?
So what I was saying before is that a lot of these new synthetic drugs, NPS is what they're called, new psychoactive substances, mimic the effects specifically of narcotic drugs. So it may not be cocaine, it may be another compound that is a chemical variation that has been created, but the effects sometimes are even more harmful and more dangerous than the traditional narcotic drugs that we know of. And so what also happens is that some of the pure forms of recreational drugs, such as MDMA, which is ecstasy, they are often mixing them with these new synthetic drugs. And so when somebody buys an ecstasy pill and you think that you're taking MDMA, in places like Latin America, in several countries, Colombia and otherwise, they are mixing fentanyl and other substances in these party drugs. Hence, you know, the significant risk and threat that we face because you really don't know what you're taking.
Mr. Finzi Smith, you're a security consultant. What are the concerns from your perspective re the infusion of these drugs?
Morning. What has happened is that essentially there's nothing new under the sun, as my sainted mother would say. When I was in my teens, we used to hear of these drugs, these party drugs as they're called. But they were being used as date rape stimulants. Some of them were exceedingly dangerous because people could have it administered and the next day they don't remember a thing. And it renders people pliant. Then there's the other problem of, let us say somebody figures, well, I smoke ganja in minute quantities, so to speak. But I've purchased it from someone who may have infused the ganja with some of these substances. And there is no research I know of that makes it predictable as to person what the effects will be. And you have people in the States, for instance, who get, for want of a better term, hooked on opioids, which are sent to you as supposedly, quote unquote, legitimate drugs. Some of them designed to ease pain, to control anxiety, and people just, utilize them to the point where overdoses become unfortunately common. In a country such as ours, where we're not exposed to the deeper implications of this, it come across to some people as harmless.
How are they getting in, Mr. Finzi Smith? How are they getting in so easily to our country?
There's no restriction on them. There are some people who don't know how to identify them.
Okay.
I can come off a plane with a bottle of ostensibly aspirin or a headache tablet or something. But it's not. It is just a container for these drugs. And because for laws that say to customs or whatever, these things are not allowed, then it's technically the floodgates have opened. Then the other problem is the entertainment industry.
All right, stick a pin right there, Mr. Finzi Smith. That's a cliffhanger. We are about to take a break. We'll be right back.
Aculab Diagnostics Limited, located at ATL Plaza in Montego Bay, for all your blood testing needs. Open every day, including Sundays. 6132714.
The time by Aculab Diagnostics Limited is
7:15 a.m.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. And in this, the first watch, we are looking on the pill popping problems, party drugs leading to serious crimes. In so doing, we have online Mr. Robert Finley Smith, who is a security consultant, and Miss UK Atkinson, research analyst at the National Council on Drug Abuse. Before the break, Mr. Finley Smith, you're about to tell us about the entertainment industry.
They have morphed into a advertising agency for these drugs.
How so?
It becomes a point where in songs and the lyrics, people glorify the effects of
And
participation.
if I may add, just to say that there are also events taking place that are Molly parties. So, you have pill popping parties where similar to an all-inclusive party where you pay a fee and you go in and you get alcohol all night. There are events now taking place right here in Jamaica where you pay a fee and you get Molly pills, or you have to take a Molly pill to enter that event in order to be a patron of the event. So the landscape is significantly changing. And I just want to make a note that this is not unique to the Jamaican setting. Our Caribbean neighbors are contending with the same issues. Trinidad, for instance, there was a methamphetamine lab found in Trinidad. They are struggling with MDMA and pill popping as well. And what we have found is that leading up to major entertainment events, we find a number of an increase in seizures of these pills. So it is very closely aligned with the entertainment industry, as has been said before.
So how prevalent is it, Ms. Atkinson? I mean...
So that's a good question. So we want to be very clear that at the moment, we do not know the prevalence of use across the island. We just completed a national drug prevalence survey among 12 to 65-year-olds across the island, and the report is to be published soon. So we're still analyzing that data and putting it together. But we do not expect that survey is going to show a major, a significant prevalence among the general population. Because with new drugs like these, where you will find the major use is among pockets of different categories of folks. So in the general population, it won't show up as, comparable to what is like alcohol and cannabis and tobacco, which are the main drugs that we use. Let me just give you an example of that. In successive studies, we have found in the general population that less than 1% of the population uses cocaine. But when you go to different high-risk groups like the homeless population and others, the prevalence among those groups is much higher than the general population, if you understand what I'm trying to explain. So we will soon be able to report on what the general population prevalence is, but we do not expect that it's going to be mind-boggling and, excessive numbers, because general population studies don't show up those new drugs like that. But when you look at seizure data, well, for instance, in 2021, there were 250 MDMA pills seized. 2022, it went up to 8,312. Here now in 2024, it's beyond 12,000 and odd pills. I mean, and this is just what is being seized. There are several others that are coming through our ports and otherwise that are undetected.
So we're not being alarmist when we have a discussion like this, are we?
No, we're not. Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Finley Smith, go ahead.
This is something that's not only flown under the radar, but it has been with us for quite some time, and I'm going to tell you where you went to find it frightening. Students in universities have used them as coping mechanisms to allow them to study.
Wow.
So it can keep them up so they can do late night binges of cramming for exams and this type of thing.
Yeah.
And having sworn by the effectiveness of this, when they become more qualified to participate in the working world, when they come under pressure, they reach for this.
Yeah, they're already addicted.
They're already addicted. And it goes as far back these days as high schools.
Yeah, man. Maybe further.
Yes, high school for sure. We found that in our 2022 rapid assessment. When we went back into the schools, after the students returned to schools from COVID, after the lockdown, we went into schools in May of 2022 and did focus group discussions across the island. 13 parishes, over 120 students participated, and we also interviewed guidance counselors. And that is where we discovered the increasing popularity of this Mali business. Because prior to that, we had not heard about the popularity among students, high school students. They were able to talk about how it is that people take them, their own experiences, the kind of effects, how to get it, how it looks, how people mix it in drinks and in spliffs and in food. It was a
mind-boggling.
Yes, and it really opened our eyes to the fact that this thing is now a problem and something needs to be done. And those things that need to be done are the legislative framework, first of all, right? To be able to put these drugs under our Dangerous Drugs Act so that more action can be taken when people are found in possession and trafficking of these substances. Yes.
I happy you mentioned about problems, because I'd love if you could explain for us, expound really on the short, medium, and long-term effects of taking these drugs, Miss Atkinson.
So let's just understand that there are a variety of categories of substances that have different kinds of effects. So for the one that we are currently most concerned about, which is MDMA, which is here, of course, fentanyl is in a class all by itself, right? Because one small speck of fentanyl can be fatal. Let me put it into perspective for you. You know, Splendor, the pack of Splendor, the small little yellow pack of Splendor.
Right.
If 500 people take that, they can all die. And that's I'm not exaggerating here. So we don't understand the extent to which fentanyl is lethal, but we don't have that here in any kind of significant way yet. But for MDMA, the party drug that is currently being used on quite a large scale by some folks, the immediate effects can be, it acts on 3 neurotransmitters, norepinephrine, etc. And so the neurotransmitters on the brain that control things like your heart rate, your blood pressure, it can cause excessive sweating, it can cause muscle tension, and it can also cause vomiting, clammy, wet, adverse effects. It can cause upset stomach. People can vomit based on the intensity and the potency of the substance that they're using, as well as the fact that they mix it with other things. It also can increase your sex drive, right? And so, which is why a number of people are using it as a date rape drug. To be able to influence the way that people behave under its influence.
And ultimately can lead to death, of course, right?
Yes, it can.
Instantly.
Yes, it can.
Mr. Finzi
Smith. If I might, there's another that people don't even seem to consider. Our crime rate and our accident rate have linkages to the behavior of individuals under the influence.
Yeah.
And because we haven't tracked this, it's like, him a drive so mad? Yes, essentially, maybe clinically he could be described momentarily as mad. How could somebody chop off somebody's head?
Yeah.
How could somebody shoot somebody like that? How somebody shoot a child? If you track back, they have no remorse built into their actions because of the influence on their neurons of this drug.
Yes. I gather that these synthetic drugs are not yet on the dangerous drugs list. Ms. Atkinson spoke a while ago about the need for legislation. What needs to be done, Mr. Finzi Smith? What more can be done to get them so listed?
Impatient of action.
What do we need to do? What needs to be done to get it the action, a reality?
First and foremost, need a way to identify it. Secondly, you need to put it on the legislative list of forbidden substances and place, some form of tangible.
Don't the authorities know this, Mr. Finzi Smith?
So, with due respect, the authorities seem to know quite a lot and do quite little. Because you would feel that someone like the lady is very versed and qualified in identifying not only the effects, but other things about the drugs who are available to them. But they seem to have other priorities. And as I said to you, some of them are used to heighten awareness. So now we come to a situation where you have a taxi driver who to make money has to put in the extra hours. And then pop one or two to keep him going.
Yeah.
And it impairs his judgment to dangerous, if not fatal, levels.
The rest is history.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just to add to what you're saying, let's not discount the impact of taking what we call traditional drugs and its impact on both crime and accidents as well. So there are people driving under the influence of alcohol and cannabis and committing crimes under the influence of those as well. And so we have a broad-based problem where it comes to substance use. We have some data from our prison survey looking at the relationship between drugs and crime. It's quite dated. It was in 2015 that we conducted a study in adult prisons looking at the relationship between both. And there is a definite relationship. 16% of the adult inmates were incarcerated because of a crime that they committed under the influence of a substance. 33% of them committed the crime in order to fuel their drug habit, and 58% of them were incarcerated because of the whole organized crime. Their involvement in organized crime. In other words, drugs for guns and so on. So we know. And that was as far back as 2015. I'm certain those numbers would be significantly higher in 2024.
In less than a minute, Ms. Atkinson, as we wind on our discussion, if someone is drugged, whether willingly or unwillingly, what should be done or not done to minimize the negative effects? Just quickly, please.
If someone is drugged, well, certainly a lot of persons don't know that they're drugged because they are also consuming alcoholic beverages with the substance that is put into their beverage. But if you feel, well, first of all, you should not leave your drinks unattended. No, at all. Do not take drinks from strangers. Do not put down your drink and go and dance or turn your back on your drink. That is no longer something that is safe. Once you feel that the effect of the amount of alcohol that you have consumed feels more than it should be. If you're a typical person who goes out and you drink alcohol and you have 3 drinks or 2 drinks, and you feel way more intoxicated than you should, then there is a possibility. If your hands start getting clammy, if you start feeling unwell, or you start to get dizzy, reach out to somebody. I mean, and this is also for groups of friends. If you see this happening to anyone in your circle, reach out and seek medical attention.
We have to leave it there. Thank you so very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Have a safe day. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay.
Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Anything possible with a little savings in your hand.
The time by Jan Bank is
7:30.
He's the protector, provider.
He's my favorite. Thanks, Daddy.
He'll do anything for the people he loves. This Father's Day, let him know how much you appreciate him. Use your Sagicor Bank credit card from June 5 to 16 to get him something special. And you could win up to $250,000 cash back with your Sagicor Bank credit card.
You're the best Daddy ever.
Keep using your Sagicor Bank credit card for the best rewards ever. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Government pensioners, the Accountant General's Department quarterly mobile life certificate drive is coming to your parish. On June 6th, we'll be at the Hanover Parish Library. We head to the Westmoreland Parish Library on June 7th and the St. Catherine Parish Library in Spanish Town on June 8th. St. Mary pensioners see you at the St. Mary Parish Library on June 10. On June 11, we visit the St. James Methodist Church in Maypen, Clarendon. The Trelawney Parish Library will be our location on June 12, and we will make our final stop at the St. Anne Parish Library on June 13. For more information, visit our website at treasury.gov.jm.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo hot chocolate in Paris.
Oreo cajeta in Mexico.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste Oreo flavors around the world. Participate by registering your Oreo package codes on oreopromo.com/JM. Discover more on the website. Oreo, stay playful. Promotion runs from May 10 to July 5th, 2024. Terms and conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
When tape diapers are difficult to change, it's time for Pampers Easy Ups with 360 stretchy waistband. They're easy to put on and take off, keeping their skin dry and protected.
Changes are easy with Easy Ups.
A time with double up your savings. These are the boosts that you've been awaiting. Put in the water dreams you've been chasing. Double up your savings. Double up.
Save so you can win in the Jan Bank Double Up Your Savings promotion. You could be one of 5 lucky quarterly winners to walk away with double the money you put in your savings account. Conditions apply.
Double up your savings.
Check our website and social media for details. Jan Bank will help you find a way. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Observer, Jamaica to embrace Twin Peaks model of supervision and regulation of the financial sector by 2026, says the finance minister. Also in the Observer, curfew extended in St. Andrew South. Also in the Observer, Jamaica's first female House Speaker, Violet Nielsen, has died. Condolences to her family and relatives. Also, we are seeing in the Gleaner, Newell High School nurtures the next generation of farmers. And we're also seeing that the real test begins. West Indies faces New Zealand in crucial T20 World Cup tie. Those are some of the major stories and news in our newspapers. Well, coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. And our social media question is, do you think teachers should be using more of the resources provided by the government in classrooms? Do you think teachers should be using more of the resources provided by the government in classrooms. We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. Soon come back.
Everyone has a big to-do list nowadays. With this busy schedule, it's easy to forget about yourself. Don't neglect your blood work. Just go for a quick and easy testing with Aculab Diagnostics Limited. Swift, simple testing, tailored to your timetable. They're open every day, including Sundays, keeping pace with your calendar. Dial 613-2714 for more details. That's 613-2714. Quick results, late hours. Because you matter.
This Father's Day, celebrate Dad for always being there. Show him how much you care by creating even more memories. And when you use your JN Bank Visa credit card and sign up for JN Rewards between June 10 and 16, you'll receive 1,000 bonus rewards points. With your JN Bank Visa credit card, you can earn real rewards to make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Shop with your JN Bank Visa credit card and sign up for rewards today. Conditions apply. JN Bank will help you find a way.
I feel follow Grace Sardine, follow the better flavor. Grace Sardine with the chef and the beginner. Follow the one with pepper, that are the winner. Shop on supermarket, everybody sell it. Do all of them nice. Pass the part, make us shell it.
Pick up Grace Sardines with peppers, vegetable oil, water and olive oil with peppers.
Cook it up, pre-breakfast, lunch or dinner. Shake it out, spice it up, make it simmer. Grace Sardine, yeah, the better flavor. Quick and easy as you print it, ready.
Grace Sardines, follow the better flavor.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Mega Mart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy, all in one amazing location. My Mega Mart, the best value by far.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
Think ahead, make a plan. You got the freedom of choice.
Lark, long-acting reversible contraceptives.
I made my choice 6 years ago. I have an IUCD, also called copper T, and it will go and protect me from pregnancy for another 4 years at least.
My choice was an implant. It lasts for 5 years. And when I'm ready for a baby, I just make doctor take it out. Contact the National Family Planning Board at 968-1632 to find out more about the Lark.
Think ahead, make a plan. You got the freedom of choice.
In life, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry. The more you own, the less you sleep.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whatever I own
and whoever I care about are covered by the very best.
With Sagicor Life and Advantage General, get life, health, and general insurance to help you protect what matters most.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. And as we segue into the second watch, last week, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Kassan Troop, was quoted in media sharing her concern that teachers have not been making use of government-funded resources for students. And according to media reports, she stated that over $2 billion, that's with a B, $2 billion have been spent since last year to purchase books and resources on an e-learning hub. And only 500 of the nation's teachers have been using the resources regularly. What is causing this take-up issue? Where is the disconnect? Most importantly, are our children being shortchanged because of this? Well, to help us answer these questions, we have online so far Mr. Leighton Johnson, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Yes. How are you doing this morning, Mr. Johnson? Hello.
I'm well.
Yes.
I'm well. Thanks for asking.
Great. Yeah, man. Good to have you with us again. Now, of course, the media has it all over the place in regards to what was allegedly said by the permanent secretary last week. And we mentioned some of it a while ago in the preamble. What are your opening thoughts and concerns, Mr. Johnson, in that regard?
We let us put the text. The Jamaica Teachers Association, along with
I'm sorry, Mr.
members.
Johnson. Could you say that phrase again? You went in and out.
All right, so we're going to put this into context.
Okay.
The Jamaica Teachers Association has always advocated and has always encouraged our members to integrate technology in their practices. The age and dispensation that we exist in requires this approach. And therefore, with the insurgence of AI, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, it is important for our members to utilize the available technologies to enhance their pedagogy, to enhance the delivery of the curriculum, and to enhance the whole teaching and learning experience. We've often said to our members too that, of course, there's concern, will AI replace us as teachers? Will augmented reality replace teachers in the classroom? And research has indicated that this is not so. But we've also indicated to our members that a teacher who is able to competently apply these technologies within the classroom will replace a teacher who is averse to the use of technology and these platforms. So having said all of that, the Jamaica Teachers Association believes in the use of technology. Now, contextually, let us look at all of these. What the permanent secretary said last week. There are some challenges where we are concerned. And, as a nation, there is always this kind of finger pointing, this shifting of perhaps blame instead of accountability, and quoting numbers without the proper context. Of course, the ministry did indicate that 40,000 licenses were procured for students at a grade 4 level. Books were procured for students at the secondary level. And teachers are not using these. The quote even went further to say it is the same platform that the rich people are using that our students or our teachers were in receipt of. But we have to understand that there are still schools within our country that do not have a steady internet connection, do not have or have internet that is assigned or isolated to a particular space, and there are no hotspots across the school. And many of these applications and software that the ministry or Dr. Toussaint made reference to are internet-based applications.
But stick up in right there, Mr. Johnson. I'm almost sure I heard a clip where she was saying that that's not an issue, in terms of Wi-Fi access and all that at most of the schools or many of the schools.
This is what the ministry is going to say, but it's still an issue. Of course, the ministry has indicated that they've started the process of putting in the hardware in our schools. But if you go right across the length and breadth of Jamaica, you will find over 50% of our schools not having Wi-Fi access across the schools.
Over 50%?
Over 50%.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi's are spotty. And though hardware has been installed, schools have indicated that they are waiting a very long time for the ministry's team to come in to do the configurations to have this kind of hardware fully functional so that our students and teachers can benefit from it. Teachers right across the country continue to indicate that they are the ones who foot their data bill to ensure that internet is in the classrooms. And this is a fact. Additionally, in terms of the context...
Could you hold that point, Mr. Johnson? We're up on a break. We want to hear the rest of what you have to say. Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Grace sardine for the chef and the beginner. Follow the one with paper, that are the winner. Shop on supermarkets, everybody
Great
sell it.
sardines, follow the better flavor.
The time is 7:45 a.m.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this, the second watch, we are looking on the, well, persons are saying education ministries lamenting the poor usage of resources. And in so doing, we have online the JTA president, Mr. Leighton Johnson. Please continue, Mr. Johnson.
Right. So in terms of the licenses that were procured by the Ministry of Education, these licenses were sent directly to the students. So of course, students now have a Ministry of Education email address, and it is through that email address that these licenses were activated or are to be activated. What the ministry failed to indicate is that, especially at grade 4 level, several of these students do not have devices on which these licenses can be placed. They don't have a tablet. They don't have a laptop.
So Mr. Johnson, they have the license but not the device to operate the license?
There you go. And this is what the ministry failed to indicate. And when we put numbers, we have to place this in a context. It is not the teacher who got these licenses. These licenses were directly sent to the students. The teachers are aware of these. But if you were to make the comparison again, as Dr. Troop made, with the rich people versus the rest of us, the rich people have devices. They have consistent internet in their homes. Our students are still without devices. And this is a context that we also need to look into. When we speak about the whole use of the Microsoft Office for teachers, of course, Microsoft Office 365 is not necessarily a learning platform. It is a word processing platform that provides opportunities for teachers to use these tools in their practices. So we use Microsoft Word, Microsoft Outlook to create banners and posters. We use Microsoft Access to do database. We use Microsoft Excel to do spreadsheets. And of course, these are our resources that are available. The ministry indicated that they expended several thousands of dollars in procuring these for our members. All well, good. But then had the ministry consulted with us as teachers, we would have indicated to them that many of our teachers across the nation already have Microsoft 365. They have these on their devices. Some regards, these were trial versions, but teachers were able to access the Microsoft 365 in many regards. And what we found too is that the permanent secretary indicated you can just download once and you have access up to 5 devices. We found in many instances that installing it on these devices, you still needed access to the internet in order for Microsoft 365 to be fully functional and effective. And many teachers had this already. So we're saying, consult with us before you go ahead and make this kind of procurement.
So when you people meet, Mr. Johnson, and I gather you people meet regularly, correct? With the Ministry of Education, right? Are these things not discussed in those meetings?
These things are not discussed, no. These are things that the ministry does and then comes and sells to us hoping to get buy-in. And this is where we want to go. We want the ministry to get to the place where they use us as, chief advisors and consultants. We understand we are on the ground. Therefore, it is urgent for us to advise. We believe that these monies could be better spent, better used, had there been consultations, because right across the board, and we stand on this, teachers had access to Microsoft 365, already. In terms of the ebooks that were presented to our students, again, these are books that you required internet to download. These licenses were restricted only to one device. And rightly so, we understand the authors of these books want to protect their intellectual property. So therefore, you can't have an open license. But I believe in this regard, additional dialogue could be had, because what we find, one, the devices that some of the students had or have were outdated. Though they worked well, though they were in good condition, they were outdated and could not carry the license that these new software had. That's a real fact that many students have. And two, once the device is lost or broken, stop working, then that is it for that license. That license is lost. These are things that we have outlined to the Ministry of Education, and again, many of these students just simply do not have the devices to have these books on. Of course, it's a novel idea. It is the direction that we want to go. It reduces the weight on the students in terms of the books in the bags on the student, not necessarily on the teacher. But we are saying to Amos, we have to contextualize this. Dr. Troop also mentioned the lesson plan bank, that there are over 700 lessons available. And of course, we welcome this as an association, and we continue to encourage our members to utilize these lesson plans that have been developed by our own teachers. This presents another avenue for our members to, remove the strain from writing lesson plans. However, what we find coming out of COVID, teachers, made use of this crisis and grabbed hold of the opportunity. Classroom hubs were established. Lesson plan hubs were established. These lesson plans were placed online in the Google Classroom. So teachers now have the ability and the option to go across platforms to identify lesson plans, to contextualize them, to suit the methodology of the students within their care. This is the kind of direction that we have gone as a nation and as our teachers. And I want the nation to understand that our teachers are using technology as best as possible. We are excited about technology. The Jamaica Teachers Association this year, for its Labor Day project, developed 3 or 4 3D labs with 3D projectors with smart screens, because we believe the use of technology in the classroom will enhance teaching and learning. So we're not averse to this. But again, when the numbers are being put out, we have to contextualize it. It is not that the teachers have these licenses and they are not using them. It is a situation that students do not have devices, that in many instances the internet is spotty, is not consistent, and there still remains a situation where there is not Wi-Fi across our schools. We do not have schools that have consistent Wi-Fi across the space where you can access the internet from any space, any classroom. That does not exist in many regards. We still have teachers purchasing their data and using their data to get internet in the classroom. So we have to contextualize these situations as we present numbers.
Right, and I gave you a long run so that you could do that. Is anything going well in regards to the interaction between the JTA and the Ministry of Education for the good of our children?
And I'm happy that you have asked that question. The Jamaica Teachers Association has long been a partner in education. We promote the professional development aspect of our teachers. And though we are a trade union, with our primary focus and function being looking out for the well-being and welfare of our teachers. Industrial relations, that is our primary focus. There is a strong professional development arm. And the Jamaica Teachers Association and the Ministry of Education has collaborated on numerous initiatives, many initiatives. And the things we believed in principle, the principle of accountability. Nobody within, and no well-thinking teacher, administrator, or anybody in the Jamaica Teachers Association is averse to accountability.
But give us some specifics, though, Mr. Johnson, where the collaboration is working out well.
we are saying that once you are going to hold the teachers accountable, ensure the systems are in place for this accountability. You can't hold teachers accountable when when the system is not in place. Good. The Ministry of Education and the Jamaica Teachers Association, we recently, in terms of a collaborative partnership that we're trying to come together with the Miami University, the Minister of Education and the JTA sat at the same table with the University of Miami, trying to, look at ways in which additional opportunities can be provided for professional development for our members. In terms of many of the conferences that we hold, the Jamaica Teaching Council is always invited and is present at our education conference, at all the symposiums that the Jamaica Teachers Association puts on. We have these initiatives on a yearly basis. The Ministry of Education endorsed our early childhood conference, which we had in December of last year, and has endorsed several other of our initiatives. The Ministry of Education is a permanent fixture at our annual conference, where we hear our views, where we listen to the ministry, where we pose our questions, and where we ensure that we are on the same page going forward. So in terms of the Jamaica Teachers Association and the Ministry of Education, I do not want this nation to believe that our position is always adversarial. That is not it. But as vanguards of education and in protecting our teachers and protecting our students whom we serve, we want to ensure that the Ministry of Education understands that we are not going to just sit by and allow things to slide under the carpet. We are going to call it as it is. We are going to be critics of the system, not to tear down, but to make the education system better. There are those, and I would indicate that you might have some, political pundits who operate under the guise as journalists, who push a political agenda and say that the JTA is adversarial and is perhaps the biggest stumbling block in the.
No have a clue who you're talking about, Mr. Johnson. But I know, leave it alone. All right.
Saying,
but going forward, Mr. Johnson, what assurances can JTA give us? Because they're saying that billions of dollars have been wasted. What we're going to do to address these issues?
And the fact is, we say to the ministry, consult with us. Let us have the conversation. Let us, advise as to how these monies are to be spent. Again, the ministry has this temperament to do things, to go ahead and, make these pronouncements and these announcements without clearly working out how these things will work. We're saying, going forward, before you expend these monies, have a conversation with the administrators, have a conversation with the teachers. Let us be a part of the process.
People meet almost every month?
And we meet almost every month, but there are so many issues that are on the table. And in many regards, these initiatives that the ministry implements are never discussed with us. We simply come and hear an announcement about these.
All right. Got to leave it there. Thanks for joining us, Mr. JTA President, Mr. Leighton Johnson.
My pleasure.
And we hope that going forward, we will see better collaboration between both entities. Have a safe day.
It is our hope. Blessings. You too.
Great. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been The Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Dane Brown. And our guests, I'm Dylan Toussaint, and you're back to Love in the Morning with Jokal Daya.
Thank you for listening to The Morning Watch.